Hello, Miami. You're listening to 305 Sports Now, your home podcast for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and what a fantastic Saturday for college football. It was actually absolutely insane as upset after upset after upset kept occurring. Marshall beats Notre Dame, Washington State beats Wisconsin, Kentucky beats Florida, and Appalachian State. That small school out of Boone, all right, North Carolina, knocks off the top number 6 team in the country, Texas A&M, and next week's Miami Hurricane opponent. But thank God, okay, thank goodness, the Miami Hurricanes did not fall prey, as it was a little scary, in the first half as the Canes came out flat, but they were able to pull out a solid victory against Southern Mississippi by a score of 30-7. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna basically just go over the statistics, of our team and so on, and both on offense and defense. And then I'm gonna give you the negatives and positives, of what I thought about the game today. Okay, I'm gonna start with the negatives first because I want to get them brushed out the way because I want to especially exemplify the positives as far as the game went today. So let me just say one thing: Tyler Van Dyke was efficient today. In terms of numerically speaking, he wasn't very happy with his performance. It wasn't a TVD type day as he threw a very poor interception in the first half and whatnot, but he did go 21 for 30 with 263 yards passing. Sorry about that, with one touchdown and one interception. I've been fighting a chest cold. Sorry about that, guys. With one touchdown and one interception. The bright spot today, though, was Henry Parrish. He was actually player of the game on today's ESPN ACC network broadcast as Henry Parrish totes the ball for 23 carries, 109 yards rushing, and one touchdown. Okay, Xavier Restrepo led the team in receptions with 6 catches for 72 yards. And Keyshawn Smith, all right, had 3 catches, a beautiful reception out of a flea flicker, a 30-yard touchdown pass from TVD for his lone touchdown of the day. On the defensive side of the ball, okay, guy who's been getting a bit of flack actually led the team in tackles today is Corey Flagg, all right? He was actually a bit more present in today's game. Corey Flagg led the team in tackles with 6, and Tariq Stevenson had an interception for the team as well. To tell you the truth, the defense actually the defense forced 2 turnovers, and special teams got 1 out of it. All right, so just to go over a little bit about the game itself, I want to go over a little bit about the negatives. Okay, one thing I want to talk about today, the pass protection wasn't the best. I believe TVD went down 4 times in the game, lost about 16 yards worth of sacks. One thing I will say is that pass protection seemed there were some misassignments in the game when it came to protecting our quarterback, and TVD took the brunt of it, all right, as well. We also saw some hurries coming from Southern Miss. Again, Southern Miss was a much more quality opponent than was Bethune the week before, but nonetheless, it is a team that Miami should be able to control, both in pass blocking and run blocking as well. All right, we'll get into the run blocking in a few minutes, but I want to go over pretty much the pass protection. My personal opinion, I don't know what Josh Gaddis is going to do next week against Texas A&M, but I do think that Miami needs to kind of go back a little bit to the more of that up-tempo passing game that they had last season under Rhett Lashley. I know Gaddis is a totally different coordinator. You have a bit more motion with Gaddis. The playbook is a bit more complex than was Lashley, where Lashley was just get the guys in space and let your athletes do what they do. Whereas Gaddis has some motions, has some protection, so on set up. So, but I do think that, in the sake that this team is not at the moment ready to pass block in a way that you could allow plays and routes to develop down the field. And I think that's why TVD got sacked. He held the ball for way too long, and that's why he actually threw an interception as well, okay, because he was actually intending to throw the pass over to Michael Redding, and the DB was ready for it as Tyler Van Dyke locked eyes with Redding a little too long, and it cost the Canes a turnover. All right, so that's just a little bit about that notion. I think, again, we should go to a more up-tempo passing game if we're going to be throwing the ball, whereas, TVD's pretty much once he gets that football, it's out of his hands, and he's able to get it to his playmakers, guys like Keyshawn Smith, Restrepo, Will Mallory, Romello Brinson, and hopefully we see a Jacoby George sighting as well real soon, okay? Or Elijah Royal. We saw him get some run as well, or even the tailbacks, okay? If nothing was down the field last year, checking down to a guy like Jay Knighton, or in this case, lately would be a Henry Parrish type of guy, wouldn't be a bad idea for Tyler Van Dyke. So that's all I'm saying. We'll see how the pass blocking improves throughout the season, but at the moment, this is not a team that's built to hold pass protection. At least the offensive linemen aren't built to hold pass protection for a significant amount of time, and I think TVD would benefit more from a more of a quicker passing game than just letting routes develop. You know, like instead of using some slants more, some bubble screens more, maybe check down to the tailback more so than seeing a deep post develop is pretty much what I'm saying, or a go route or multiple go routes at the same time. I'm just throwing it out there, okay? Just give you guys a bit of an idea. So that's a little bit on the negatives. Also, again, I mentioned the passing game. Receivers need also to call separation. It wasn't just TVD's thing. Also, the receivers need to break away from their defenders, whether it's coming back to the football or whether it's just basically using their athleticism to get away from the defensive backs. That is something that they had some trouble with in Bethune, and they had some trouble with in the first half in particular against Southern Miss, except Restrepo. Restrepo was getting open rather easily in the first half. He really didn't touch the ball much in the second half, but Restrepo was able to get away, elude his defenders easily in the first half. All right, on the defensive side of the ball, once again, our defenders have trouble containing the quarterbacks that are slightly bit athletic. Early on in the game, Zach Wilkie was able to run for first downs and get chunk yardage. Okay, also, a big concern is our defensive backs, the Corey Couch, not Al Blades. Well, Al Blades actually missed upon an interception that he could have had, but Al Blades, DJ Ivy to Corey Couch, okay, today Malik Curtis, okay, our defensive backs, as far as our quarterbacks go, need to step up, right? They need to make plays when plays need to be made. So Corey Couch had a really bad pass interference. Number one, he shouldn't have been in that position against the wide receiver he was covering, and he should always turn around. It was an easy call for the referee. You know, Al Blades had an opportunity to get an interception, did not charge at the ball. That's what Kevin Steele kind of told him when he came off the field. They let Brownlee, who was a pretty good receiver, but they let Brownlee in the first half do whatever he wanted, at least when he was given the opportunity to do so. Okay. DJ Ivy again gave up another big play. I already mentioned that earlier. Dropped an interception. The Canes dropped a total of 4 picks that I counted throughout the game. There should have been a massive slaughter, much more than 30 for 7 than it was earlier today. So that's one thing the Canes have got to clean up. So containing athletic quarterbacks. Okay, Haynes King is athletic, so that's something that the Canes have to look at. Containing athletic quarterbacks, that's 1. All right, and the cornerbacks have to step up. That's 2. If the pass rush improves, which it improved in the second half, all right, if the pass rush improves and they're able to apply more pressure on the quarterback, that will help the cornerbacks out in the defensive backfield. But if Haynes King is allowed to scour the field a little bit more and the pass rush doesn't get there in time, our DBs will be in trouble, right? Not so much our safeties. We got some ballers at the safety position. We got some ballers as far as James Williams goes, as far as Kevin Kitchens goes. Don't know what's going on with Devontae Williams. Did not see the field. And also he is rumored to possibly hit the transfer portal, as he's basically unfollowed everything Canes, all right, on his social media platform. So stay tuned for that. All right. But as far as positives go, while the pass rush wasn't there early on, the run stoppage was, all right. Our defensive line is nasty at stopping the run. Okay. Our run defense was very solid. Everybody who feared Frank Gore Jr., Frank Gore had 7 carries for 10 yards. The defense also altogether only allowed 91 yards in the second half. So that means that our coaching staff is really good at halftime adjustments, which is a positive, because that is something that plagued the Canes in years past. So our coaching staff is very good at recognizing difficulty and adjusting to the competition in the second half. Okay. Also, let's give them credit. We didn't expect them to have a quarterback. All right. We expected more of a wing T, Wildcat formation, because their quarterback got knocked out of the game last week, and the true freshman came in and actually held it together for the first half. Second half, not so much. He had one good drive that got picked by Tyreek Stevenson, who, by the way, is a bright spot at corner. Okay, he's one of the positives. All right, he's a positive on special teams. He had a big punt return, and he's also a positive as a defensive back. He's one of the few cornerbacks we have not had to worry about so far this season. Tyreek has had it together. Okay, so a little bit of that. Another thing also for positive is Henry Parrish. Okay, Henry Parrish has another solid game. Should have had 2 touchdowns running the football, but Ja'Guy Clark got called basically for roughing a defensive player as he pushed him way out of bounds, which negated it would have been a 20-yard touchdown run by Henry. Okay, so Parrish looks very good again, as rushing over 100 yards, almost 5 yards a clip, as well. Run blocking looked very good. especially the second half. In the first half, it depends on who's looking at the game. I didn't think they were that bad, in the first half, but they only had about 50 yards, I believe, in the first half. But the run blocking looked pretty good. So the combination of Henry Parrish and Thaddeus Franklin has been amazing, all right, as well. So that also had a very good game. He had another touchdown. So with injuries to Javonte Citizen and also injuries to John Shea Jr. and also Jay Knight not looking 100% right, Parrish and Franklin have been able to step up and have toted the rock very well for the Canes. Okay, so that's just a little bit about that. So just, again, just some negatives, some positives. Going into A&M, A&M loses a tough one at home at College Station to Appalachian State. Appalachian State is, although not a very feared opponent, they do give some of the Power 5 teams some difficulties. They've beat Michigan in the past, okay? They also almost beat the Canes last year, if we remember, almost beat the Canes last year, okay? And they took the number 6 team, played toe-to-toe with them, got in a fist fight with them, pushed them off the line of scrimmage, and were able to beat them 17-14. What I'm trying to say is, though, I do not think we will see the same Texas A&M team that lost to Appalachian State. We will not see that team on Saturday. I think Texas A&M is going to look to something to prove, and they're going to want to beat the Canes, all right? So Miami's going to have to be ready for that. This is the ultimate test for the Canes because this is SEC competition, and I do think that Miami could pull off the upset from what we saw today from Texas A&M. And Miami is a team that they will bully you, completely. They're not afraid to go fist to fist with you anymore, whereas teams of the past would rather finesse you, into victory. This team will try the finesse game a bit, as we saw with the flea flicker, and I do believe Josh Gaddis will open up the playbook a little bit more on offense, but they will go fist to fist with you. So I do believe it will be a close game, all right, at College Station, 9 p.m. Over on, I think it's going to be on ABC this time around. But I do believe that the Canes could pull off the upset. I do believe it's possible. A&M on offense is not all that. However, our DBs have had some problems, and they do have much quicker receivers than Southern Miss has. Okay, so that's something for the Canes to look at. Okay, and Haynes King will have a much better game. I think he'll look to have a much better game against Miami than he did against App State. What probably ended up happening is that A&M did look over App State and was looking forward towards the matchup against Miami. Miami didn't overlook Southern Miss, although it was sloppy in the first half. It was sluggish. The Canes looked very slow, and TVD looked very uncomfortable on offense in the first half. That 2-minute drill, which again was short passes, quick passes, the ball got out of TVD's hands and very quickly led to a touchdown. And I do believe that TVD will play much better against Texas A&M than he did against Southern Miss in the first half. I think he's going to have a complete game. Or nonetheless, we will see a lot of Henry Parrish. We will see a lot of Thad Franklin. And I hope to see a better game as well from Jay Knight. All right. So that 3-headed monster that Miami's going to have to put together is going to have to really step up the game against A&M. If the Canes beat A&M, there's some talk. All right. Because that was one of the 2 games Miami was expected to lose in this upcoming season. But I do believe that A&M is vulnerable. And I do believe the Miami Hurricanes can pull it out, come back home, and then beat up on Middle Tennessee, and then start ACC play and actually dominate the ACC and get and be the undisputed champion of the Coastal Division this season. I don't think there's any team that could beat the Canes in the ACC. All right, obviously Clemson. All right, and Pittsburgh always gives them some fits, but having Pittsburgh at home this year favors the Canes. All right. Okay, everybody, that's it for me. I will be reviewing the Dolphin game tomorrow as well. All right, I'm going to be splitting these podcasts and these videos this season. I know you guys are used to it as I put it together, but now since we've gone video, not just audio, I want to do a bit of a split to give a little bit of a niche for everybody that has a little bit of flavor. Some people like Dolphins more than Canes, or Canes more than Dolphins. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of what they want. All right, so that's it for me. I am Will. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel at 305 Sports Now. And if you're listening to the audio version, please do not forget to download on Anchor, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. All right, once again, I am Will. See you soon. Stay safe, and God bless.